if we're talking about 8 to 9 hour shift for a single handyman, today with the use of new tools and machines,
good afternoon, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here this afternoon with Mr. Chauhan for a follow-up conversation. The last time we chatted, he had just launched his book, Getting to Resilient Mode, which was on Amazon's bestseller list for, I believe, the past few months. It maybe has gone down to number 2 now, but incredible book. And in that book, Mr. Chauhan really shared the knowledge that he's gained over his over 3 decades long career. And today, we're fortunate to have him with us. He's going to enlighten us on how businesses can adopt ESG practices, protect our environment, and simultaneously save costs. And this is the ultimate goal, isn't it? Now, tell us about how EFS has really leveraged ESG initiatives for financial benefit, and what specific areas or strategies have contributed to cost savings at your company.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the Forbes for inviting me. With regards the ESG and the cost, being a single-digit operating, single-digit margin company, we are always concerned how we could find savings, how we could bring efficiencies. It's about 4 or 5 years back, I was reading an article in Economist, and there was a reference to ESG at that time. It was something very new, primarily largely confined to Europe and mostly to banks and few institutions. And there was an opinion about ESG being a lot more tokenism and not really actual impact. However, at EFS, when I got into the details of ESG, then I looked at the various institutions, and then I looked from thereafter the COP came in, and then I realized that where are we standing here? There's so much of opportunity within the so many different cost elements that can, by adhering to certain ESG compliances, one can save. At EFS, being a first responders when it comes to climate change, energy management. For us, we are out of a core business, energy management is one of them. Today, in building operating costs, 30 to 40% of your costs are the energy management. And as a facility management company, I manage close to about 75 million square meters around 23 countries. I work with almost every large global major in the region. And what I realized that energy management is one of the, but it's not only energy management. When I look at recycling, conservation, water conservation, we look at so many other elements. But more than that, why we only look at the cost savings? Why don't we look at the social consciousness part of the ESG? The S, a lot of people in ESG are lost only in E. What about S? What about governance? Each of these have got a significant impact where you can accomplish definitive, essential, what I would say, savings across. As a people-first organization, we were able to bring social consciousness. We were able to bring higher productivity because we built a fully diversified business, and we adapted in our organization as a people-first, a social consciousness around cultural change. And that led me to help in increasing the efficiencies through productive efficiencies and the various others. So what I'm trying to say, that let governance, let social elements within the ESG, other than environment, must not be taken as an extra cost. I don't think this cost in any, there are so many opportunities and so many defined outlines. At EFS, we have adopted ESG about 1.5 years back. I can assure you it took me almost 2 to 3 years' time to understand the entire impact of ESG and how we could make a difference. And then when we understood, okay, there are opportunities, Let's not only be around energy management alone. Let not it be only about let it not be only about recycling and others. When we got into the social side of it, we realized there's so many opportunities for us. It helps me to brand building. It helps me to elevate the standards in the organization of compliances. Compliances will always help you to save monies. I don't understand how compliance is considered as extra cost.
Let's talk about the financial side. Now, ESG practices often involve huge investments, both in sustainable technologies and in innovations. What sustainable technologies or strategies have you employed at EFS, and how have these helped to reduce your operational costs and contribute to a more sustainable world simultaneously?
So, in our business, when it comes to technology, apart from the energy management, there are multiple technologies available between the building management systems, the BMS, and the various others. And I'm sure there are some people who must have talked about it. There are some extraordinarily great companies. But I would talk more in context to the use of tools and equipments in facility management. Today, there is so much of innovation and so much of transformation has happened. Primarily, we were looking for efficiencies in order to help to elevate our margins. But then we realized there are many other opportunities within that. As of today, we are able to, between the various kinds of tools that we are using, from if it handheld machines, handheld tools, to various other tools, which is not only helping in reducing the carbon footprint, but also helping in improving the productivity. Mm-hmm. I'm able to, earlier, our average, if we're talking about 8 to 9 hour shift for a single handyman, today, with the use of new tools and machines, we are basically able to improve that productivity by almost 30%. Mm. The same thing is happening in context to water conservation. We're talking about sensor devices. We are looking at many other elements. So technology has definitely made a significant difference. In facility management, one more important thing is the data. Unfortunately, we keep talking about technology in isolation without understanding the importance of data. And at EFS, one thing which is very, very important for me in the entire life cycle of facility management, or in context to the entire, the different kind of tasks we do, how we are able to capsulate data and then use it with the right kind of a technology platform. We've got our own CAFM. We are one of the few companies in the world that have built our own CAFM platform. If I have to manage, I employ close to around 27,000 people in 23 countries. In order to manage your workforce, not only in context to the HR systems, more in context to the day-to-day management of the business, the enterprise, because CAFMs were mostly left in the past to asset management. At EFS, being an integrated facility management services company, we brought in CAFM as a core system of the organization, where just not only asset management, but the entire task are managed through the CAFM system. That's why I have adopted data. Mm-hmm. And when you have the right data, technology does wonders for us. You can have very specific ESG-related SLAs, and you can, within those key captive fields within your overall operating systems, you can actually create some great ESG compliances. And a lot of information you can extract from there, and you can analyze that.
You mentioned earlier the importance of the social aspect in ESG. Tell us about EFS's CSR initiatives, and give
doing. I said I'm a sustainabilist. So they all started laughing. He says, are you referring to sustainability from sustainability in context to the, because today, when we talk about the word sustainable was not necessarily that today the way we have, the way we present sustainability only to deal with the environment, climate change, and mitigation. For me, sustainability in business. So when the recycling opportunities came, so for example, if we have 9,000 people in UAE sitting, living in these staff accommodation, there's a lot of food waste. We realize we are in the landscaping business. Why don't we use this food waste? We brought a compactor, and we took our green waste, and we took the food waste from the staff accommodations, and I created a nursery. Then I realized that I need to have a mother area, or I need to have some element of agricultural land where I could actually produce and use this. And from the last 3 years, I have every single food waste within my staff accommodations goes to my nursery, and through the extractors we work, and we have one of the finest manure. We're able to sell it, so we not only the waste that was never this thing. Same thing we are doing with paper. How much of paper is churning out of some of our facilities at airports? We manage some of the airports. We are doing some major warehouses and others. And we started collecting that waste and ultimately trading with it. And even some of that, we are even using it for recycling purposes.
So you're capitalizing on waste. So you're a sustainabilist and you're also a capitalist, Mr. Chauhan.
Well, I'm not a capitalist. I'm definitely a sustainabilist.
How do you see ESG practices really evolving and influencing the facility services industry if we take a peek into the future? And what roles will EFS play in shaping this change? As you mentioned, you have a presence in 23 countries, 27,000 strong workforce. What impact will you have?
I think I'm always in pursuit of impact. And to build an organization, the first most important thing is to append standards. In facility management, we primarily stand for 5 key. So those who don't know facility management or who may have heard about it, the first important thing in facility management is appending standard, bringing consistency, and end user ease in terms of the services that we provide. Second is the safety and security of people. Third is the longevity of the life cycle management of the assets, assets life cycle management. So longevity of assets. The fourth is compliance and governance, because compliance and governance is an integral requirement of more facility management. And fifth is cost optimization. So when it comes to ESG, it has got everything that facility management needs to integrate in order to justify its presence. Not only in context to disaster management and business continuity challenges, you need FM. Not only for a normal lifestyle support for residents and tenants. Facility management has to stand up to ensure all the 5 elements. That is the core part of the facility management. And I don't think I ever, when I talk about FM, I said these are our 5 things. And until we comply with these, unless we are able to stand up to provide value proposition on each of that element, the meaning of a facility management and our purpose of being in that. So I'm definitely driving that impact, not just simply looking at my 2 billion revenues.
Absolutely. There's a reason why Mr. Chauhan is featured among Forbes Middle East list of the top 100 CEOs. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.